Hello and welcome to episode 47 of my informative playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker, and we are just heading east here in order to visit an area called the Lonely Barrow, which is located just in here, and we might get an ambush as we do so. Or not. Because we've strayed into this area, it has some quite dangerous ambushes, which is why we've held off going up here with Kaliki and Kanara's quest. We've also unlocked Silverstep Village on the other side of the river, which we will be visiting. References local Nixies. Anyway, let's have a little look in Lonely Barrow. And this is quite a dangerous area. And I wouldn't recommend going here any earlier, at least on this difficulty, any earlier than the level 7, I believe we are. Yeah. Just because you get locked in, and so if you haven't brought supplies, you will really be a bit stuffed. But we can kind of see that this has the same appearance of other areas we've been, which are sort of Cyclops themed. If you remember very early on, when we were chasing Tartuccio, we went to a barrow which had the same sort of design, and we found Cyclops coins and the like. And it's a big area, and it's got a number of quite easy fights and then two really difficult ones. So let's go ahead and buff up, because we need to balance use of resources with the danger associated with the barrow.
I'm listening.
So we can see. There we go. And how many?
Require my assistance?
Yes.
What's new?
That should do it.
Is there trouble?
We've got a few hastes, so we'll go ahead. And there we go. Just step inside. So we've got bandit raiders who, quite rudely, refer to Alice as a corpse that doesn't know it's dead yet. I don't like that at all. What, you come to loot this place? You're too late. We were here first, and we're keeping what we found. We're scholars, see? This is our find. And Valerie doesn't really like them at all. But who are you, and what are you doing here? Can't you see for yourself? Researchers, we are. Yeah, researching this crypt now. Everything we find, why? We give to the poor. I don't like him very much. And we're here on the job, see? This one hired us. The leader nods at the halfling corpse on the floor. Yes. Anyway, as soon as the little one showed us the way he became ill. Do we believe that? And, yeah, thanks, Harem. Another useless interjection from you, but I guess very in keeping. But, yeah, clearly this person didn't die by taking ill. And Valerie doesn't like them either. Thanks, Valerie. So what is this place? But they're saying it's ours. It's not. It's mine. What is this place? Yeah. It's a strange disconnect. Why should... Then we'll see. It just doesn't quite flow grammatically. It just almost should say, why should I tell you? Yeah, we can actually try and lie to them, but having Valerie in our group, she'll interject and say, why are you lying to them? Let's kill them. And it's a fight anyway. We can take these. These are some quite difficult checks. I mean, obviously not really difficult. But it seems clear that they're murderers and they're grave robbers. Not that the latter really bothers us, but yeah. They should not be threatening the Baroness, and they shouldn't be killing people when she's around. So, yeah. We'll see who dies today. I have a feeling it's going to be them. So we can just see what we've got. We've got some level 2 fighters here. Level 3 fighters. It's Bandit Raiders, level 7 fighter. Level 4 and 3. So a whole range. These 3 are ranged. These 3 are melee. We're going to come in straight for these ranged. And we're probably going to rearrange our formation because it just doesn't quite look right there. And we'll bring Valerie up and Harem. So we'll see, they're all going. Now this bandit raider is casting haste. Obviously has points in use magic item and has a scroll.
Let us strike
So that's
as one.
quite dangerous.
A clever ploy.
Especially if they get the cat flat-footed. Yeah. So that will boost their AC. Let's not use them. 1. And yeah.
This will hurt.
2. This will take a little bit. We could have, of course, quite easily hideous laughtered, but turns out we're not doing that. Let's hit Valerie because I didn't cast anything AC buffing on her, so really
Serves you right.
it'd be quite nice to kill that guy there.
Do not
Just close in and take out the archer. That's alright. Her health pool is so high that it's not the end of the world. But, just to make sure, we'll cast Buckskin on her. There. So as for what they've got, the poor murdered halfling has the book we're looking for, part 3 of Bokken's quest there. We also get some nuts. Melted shard of a ring, so new part of the Ring of Reckless Action. And this as well, this is their notes. It's just a small fragment, it isn't covered in mud. But it refers to this ghost stone on a hill. And it also basically talks about how this is a place where the veil separated the planes. And I suppose in particular, between Galarian and the First World, is quite weak. And yes, the Stolen Lands are bound with such legends like no other part of the world. Yes, and it's very difficult to research such things. So clearly, other researchers have noticed what we've noticed, that you know, there's an abundance of Fae-themed stuff here. As for the bandits, they have nothing particularly exciting, except the one of them had this crossbow +2. We get a token of the Dryad, another scroll of haste, so yeah, and a half plate, which we might dump because it's quite heavy. But yes, that's a minor upgrade for somebody who can't shoot anyway. Congrats on your +10 AB. Even with all those buffs, if you compare that to Valerie, she's +15, which is yeah, not even very good itself. But this door here is shut, and so we need to, if we want to investigate further, we can either leave and come back, or we can clicky here, and that should, wait, maybe it's the next bit, but one bit locks us in. If we come down here,
And Lindsay was called forth.
there we go. That's this just up here.
Applause, please.
Some more nice things. Yeah, another scroll of haste. I mean, I don't use lots of scrolls, but generally it's because I don't need to. It's not because I've got any
Anything else?
hesitance at all about using consumables. It's just sort of sometimes you think, well, do I need it?
Thank me now.
Anyway, this, as I was sort of saying, these bas reliefs depicting cyclopses, and we've got tombs with their sort of logos on. Logos, emblems, perhaps. More bits and pieces. Potion. Cat's Grace.
Was not in vain.
Applause, please.
There's a. This has got a trap on it, I believe.
I found something interesting.
Anything is possible.
Now we are going to be coming back to this place later.
Please.
We can't do everything this time, so another scroll of haste. So if we miss any small things,
My time
it's
to
not
shine.
the end of the world. But what we are going to do, and I'm going to save this beforehand because it's a little bit tricky. We're going to prepare by swapping out the mace. There you go, Valerie. For no particular reason. We'll stick you over there. We'll stick Harem here. And we'll have a little look
We should move. No
at
time for
this.
idling.
So, this massive stone sarcophagus, which has again got quite a clear Cyclops face, looks pretty angry on top. We can examine the carvings. What did we roll? 15, very good. And they depict the ancient Cyclopean Empire, and in reference to this rebellion, which is the barbarian rebellion. These were brutally suppressed, and the leaders were caught. So, you can just have a little walk round, and notice fresh tracks in the dust. Someone has been here recently. And we can try, although odds are low, of examining the sarcophagus lid. Yeah, so no luck there. And we've got this athletics check. Now, we're not going to quite do that yet, because I just want to make sure we're going to pass it. And in order to do that, we need to be... or we've got a better chance of passing it. And in order to do that, we could do with just borrowing a belt. There we go. And not being encumbered. So, yes.
What troubles you?
So it gives us a 17, and we succeeded. There we go. If you don't succeed, it just takes longer, and so you lose any buffs you got up. But we slide aside the marble slab, hits the ground with a great booming noise. The sides of the coffin are raked with scratches and dried blood. Someone was buried here, and they were desperately trying to get out. But despite the scratch marks, there is nothing inside. The sarcophagus is empty. In the darkness behind you, you hear a faint rustling sound. An involuntary shiver runs down your spine. And yes, various sarcophagi start popping open.
Life ends here.
So we can't... Has combat started yet? Because if it hasn't, we can very cheekily... No. So, Valerie's going to move up there, and there's some others down here as well. There we go. See who they'll go for. Now, undead are not vulnerable to piercing weapons. They're vulnerable to bludgeoning weapons, obviously. And you see here, Valerie is hitting, and she's doing that extra electricity damage with the cold, of course, they're immune to. But these Dread Skeleton Elite, you know, these are not particularly exciting stats, but it's more about how many of them there are. And it's this 5 damage reduction except bludgeoning. Plus they're immune to almost every sort of crowd control which I can throw out. Of course we can web and grease them. But really there's no need. There we go. See. Oh yeah, you can't demoralize an undead.
You should have run.
See what I don't... They will change target if we're not careful. That's why Harem is sitting here, doing nothing. So that's done. Close in there. And now let's just finish off the rest of them.
Strike.
Valerie loops all the way around. I do like the animation on that shock mace. There we go. So it's these masterwork longswords we can pick up to take. Everything else we'll leave behind. Not that there's really any need to collect it now, because we'll get it on the way out. However, what we should find now is, yeah, this door is sealed. So by opening that sarcophagus, you lock yourself in to this for however long it takes you. If you've brought supplies, of course, you can rest in the dungeon. But of course, first time I came here, I didn't bring any supplies at all. We got 3 Dread Skeleton Soldiers and 1 Champion Archer, and these archers are lethal because they've got rapid shot, and later on they've got multi-shot as well. So they will really fire a lot of arrows.
Your life ebbs low.
Who are you attacking? Is that Valerie or Harem? That's Harem. Okay.
Do not falter. Don't hold back.
Poor Harem, he's not set up to be hit.
What a waste.
This will
But
hurt.
they're not difficult. It's not at level 7 anyway. If you come here at level 5 or 6, like straight out of completing chapter 1, killing the Stag Lord, if the first thing you did was explore east, for starters, the random ambushes would kill you if you weren't careful, and for seconds, you'd be coming into places like this that you really aren't ready for.
Anything else?
As in my previous videos, the best thing to do in chapter 1 is to clear.
I wrote it like I saw it.
The end draws near.
There we go. Is to clear the stuff you haven't done in chapter 1, and then progress Troll Trouble and do some leveling up. And that by progressing Troll Trouble, you'll
share my path.
get the XP up to this, i.e. level 7,
Just letting the
and then this stuff should be easy.
To arms.
So we've got elite, 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 and elite.
Onwards.
Just bring them over here. Come this way. Do give you all instructions sometime. And then we can close
Stay
in.
behind me.
There we go.
Time is over.
Become as dust.
Someone hit? No.
A fine use of my talents.
This is
I don't like surprises.
a nice little bit of it's very unusual to happen, but always really funny when it does. So this is 2 people chasing someone who's trying to reposition to attack them, going round another enemy, and I've only ever seen it happen rarely, and it's because the cat is big that it becomes a little bit more easy to do. But that's quite nice to see. This is an part of an artifact that can be restored. I think there's something ridiculous like 13 of them, so that's not something we're going to be finding anytime soon.
Applause, please.
Okay, various bits. This one here, again, a second one. Ancient script covered leather. And a scroll fireball and the like. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to unlock this door, and to do that we need to click a button there that I just did, and a button down here. There's a slightly tougher enemy coming up. This ferocious skeletal champion. This is level 6 fighter, level 2 undead. Still nothing spectacular. See about taking them down. Nicely tripped, actually. And here, Nightmare Skeletal Champion Archer. It's level 6, level 2. So yeah, if you got an archer like that, you really don't want to be messing with them.
Clever ploy.
And we don't have protection from arrows, which, if you take protection from arrows on someone like Jubilos early, that will trivialize some of the harder fights in this dungeon. But we don't want it to be too easy. Let's check what's in there. So, Scorching Ray and the like. Nothing spectacularly interesting. I think there's a trap here, so yeah.
This requires your attention. Anything else?
And we can see, yeah, seems as if acid was poured on this crumbling column.
How cute!
And I can't remember
The world is
if this
full
is
of
going to do it,
wonder.
or if this is a different bit, but
The spell's not working.
No.
Pain.
There might be something there, but basically what we
Anything
want...
is possible.
There's a perception check here, which we can either pass or not. No.
I'll take care of it.
But we can see the button, which reveals it. Right, okay, what have we got in here? Various bits and pieces, gems, good for scrolls, and a belt of Mighty Constitution +4, which is quite nice.
Time to act.
And what we should do is just reclaim that, use that, there, and then we've got this belt, which we can swap out there. Tiny bit more HP, less likely to die. Now,
I'll share my
you'll notice that we've leveled up as well, so that's quite nice. And I'll probably talk through leveling up now. This video might be quite long in that case, but I'll talk through leveling up and see how long that takes, and then we'll either finish the tomb or we'll save it for the next video. So,
The dangers don't frighten me.
a rapid jump from level 6 to level 8, because Troll Trouble just rewards a lot of XP. Anyway, for our sorceress, level 8, obviously nothing special at this level. Level 9 is quite cool because we get Fleeting Glance, but yeah. But we do get an extra point, okay? And this is really quite important because this is going to bump our DCs up. So Charisma to 22, DC +6. And we're going to get some cool spells as well. So we get level 4 spells, which is a huge moment, because we actually start getting good enchantment spells. These are a lot of these are really good spells here. You know, if you're an illusionist, something like Phantasmal Killer is a WoW spell, or Rainbow Pattern, an equally WoW spell for crowd control. Innovation, excellent if you're firing rays. This gives level drain, so negative levels. You know, you can really do some damage here because it doesn't have a save. Dimension Door, incredibly useful utility spell, and I'll be taking Dimension Door on this character. Bone Shatter as a necromancy spell, and if you're playing a necromancy mage, Animate Dead as well. These pit spells, if you're doing conjuration, Acid Pit is a really good spell. But what we're going to pick, and Dragon's Breath, because it's not affected by spell resistance. That's one of the main appeals of this spell. No spell resistance, although it is reflex save. So yeah, unlike a ray, you're not rolling against the armor class. They're rolling a reflex save. But we're going to pick Confusion, and Confusion is a really powerful spell, but it's a bit fiddly. So first of all, it's not going to affect undead at all. That's key. But Confusion will affect things that something like Hideous Laughter won't. So long as they're not immune to mind affecting, you can confuse things. It's only one round a level, and it's a will save. And on the face of it, it doesn't really look that great. But it's an AoE spell. Okay, 15-foot burst, so wherever you want it. It will affect your party, so you got to be really careful. But you get each round, you get one of these 5 things they will do. So first of all, does nothing but babble incoherently or does damage to self. That's basically taken someone out of the fight completely for that round. So it's got a 50% chance that everybody you cast this on will do nothing useful this round. There's a 25% chance they'll act normally. So and this one is a sort of chance of a chance that they'll attack normally. So they'll attack the nearest creature, which may be you or it may be one of their allies. But basically, between a 50 and a 70% chance of an enemy doing nothing to you is an incredibly good defensive spell, because they're not swinging at you. Somebody might have 3 attacks. Instead, they're doing 1d8 plus strength modifier to themselves, or they're doing nothing. I absolutely love Confusion, and it's the first first enchantment spell you get, which really feels, like super powerful, to be able to cast a confusion and send, a difficult fight into nothing as you just wade through them. So that's it for Alice. I feel I would be foolish not to take this, even though we're in an undead barrow. Lindsay, again, this is a really exciting level because we get Dirge of Doom. And Dirge of Doom is automatic shaken. You'll notice I used Persuasion to demoralize. I used Demoralize a lot. Well, this is AoE persistent shaken. So all our attacks from Valerie will be rolling against a shaken enemy, and everyone's debuffed with shaken as well, which is very powerful. So yes, one of my favourites, and just a great reason to have a bard at least level 8. We're gonna hit charisma again because I feel mean not doing it. What's a bard without charisma? And we'll lay out like that just as we have been. Now, this is an interesting level here because because she's not doing lots of debuffing, we've got a lot of leeway in what we take here, and the optimal choice might be to take haste here because more haste is always better, if that makes sense. But there's an equally good case for casting slow, for taking slow as well, and for taking, obviously Lindsay could take confusion as well, and she could have had it much earlier. We could have taken this back when we took Good Hope. But I'm going to steer away from these enchantment ones because I kind of feel like I should build Lindsay to be different to the main character. So I'm going to go ahead and take slow on her. And it's not going to be as effective because we don't have sky high charisma. But it's still quite nice to have to be able to throw out. Because even one slowed enemy is better than none. And this gives her an offensive spell at this level. There we go. Harem. So we get 2 domain specific abilities here. We get Chaos Blade. So this gives something the anarchic special weapon quality, which means it basically gives you your sort of bane effect against the opposite alignment. So this will mean, I believe, off the top of my head, it's something like 2d6 extra damage against lawful enemies. But you can only use it. You can use it a few times. So once per day at 8, an additional time for every 4 levels, and it gives half a level times. It gives number of rounds equal to half your level of this Chaos Blade thing, which is quite nice. But it's situational because you need to be prepared to give an incredibly short-term buff to someone there. And Destructive Aura, likewise, is very situational. If you were to read through this, you would see that it gives everybody morale bonus on damage equal to half your level. I mean, that's big. That could be, that's up to plus 10 damage, and all critical threats are automatically confirmed. Like, you'd be thinking like, wow. However, this is, everyone in the area. So this is your enemies as well. So what you can do, if you know it's a 30-foot aura, you can position Harem such that you're only really catching your own people in this aura, but it's fiddly to use. And the other option is if you really want to strike things down really quickly. You can smash in and hopefully you'll kill almost everything before they start swinging back. Again, we're bumping primary stat, wisdom, and skills in the same places. No new spells. And that's complete. And I'll just remember to do harem spells. So we're going to take another Animate Dead because they're always useful. And at this level, I'm just going to pop another Freedom of Movement. We can take Bear's Endurance, something I haven't been taking very much of, but is quite nice to have. Actually, We'll take Al's wisdom because that way he can buff himself. And that should do there. And okay, Valerie Fighter. So we get our fighter bonus feat here. Gonna pump strength for obvious reasons, because this is my damage Valerie, not my hiding behind her shield Valerie. And for our feat choice, we have a choice of two incredibly good feats. Improved critical, which will double our critical threat range from 19 to 20 to 17 to 20. That's great. That's a lot of crits. Or greater weapon focus, which will give us a flat +1 bonus using our main weapon. Both are good. This one is more flashy. This one is more workhorse, because more hits is always more swings connecting is always good. And I'm going to take this one specifically because of something upcoming where, you know, this is just very useful to have that greater chance of hitting. But I will be taking this one as well, probably at level 10 when we get there. I mean, you could probably make the argument that taking improved critical is the more optimal choice here, but I always feel compelled to take greater weapon focus first. So there we go. And finally, Jubilost. And we're going to get another infusion here. There we go. And of course he gets his poison resistance, but we're not really worrying about that because we can just cast delay poison. We get a discovery, and there are so many good discoveries. Now, useful choices at this level. Cognatogen, obviously, because this means we can boost our intelligence. So our mutagen is sort of swapped. So we get a cognatogen, which means you can boost your mental stats at the expense of your physical stats, as opposed to boosting your physical stats at the expense of your mental stats. And we're going to take this because this will increase the DC of our bombs. But not yet. We get some really nice things. Force bombs, unlocked at level 8. These have reduced damage, but can knock things prone. These are so good in situations that it kind of feels rude taking them. We've got various bombs which will do nasty things, like blinding bombs. And then we've got some sort of potion stuff. And of course we've got dispelling bombs as well, which have come online. I'm going to pick holy bombs, and I like holy bombs, and I like everything about them. Because they will stagger evil enemies, and staggered is really good because it's a great debuff. It's the same debuff as slow, basically, but and they do divine damage. So they overcome a lot of resistance. I think holy bombs, I just like them. They're probably not optimal at this choice because you could take force bombs, which will allow you to knock lots and lots of things prone. However, it's just really, really cool to have holy bombs. And we're going to bump intelligence, obviously, and that gives us an extra backlog of skill points. And there's nothing really exciting that Jubilost needs, so we're just going to pump Knowledge Arcana up like that. And spells, I'm going to take Protection from Arrows because this is damage reduction of 10, bypassed by magic weapons, but a lot of enemies don't actually have magic weapons, so this is a great spell to have, and it would have been great to have in this dungeon. There we go, and our spells. Yep. Oh no, what am I doing? There. Okay, complete.
So
let's
any
just
brilliant ideas?
do your spell book. Protection from arrows. We'll take a couple of Bokkens so that we can take some of the pressure off here. And there we go. So basically we take Bokken so that we can swap some stuff here for some other stuff which is equally good. Okay, and that is it, I think, for this video. We'll finish the rest of the tomb in the next one, but suffice to say we're now well prepared to face the enemies that we fight. And we can always rest if this turns out to be a disaster. Anyway, see you in the next video.